Good to start.
Hey everyone, this is the Kubeflow SDK and ML Experience call on 20th of August 2026. This meeting will be recorded and published on YouTube, and we follow CNCF Code of Conduct. So just before we get started, we give maybe a couple of minutes of folks to introduce yourself, especially new people here on the call who just want to say hi to the community. Anyone, want to say hi before we get started? Any new people? All right. In that case, let me probably go through the agenda items. Yeah, so first of all, I think I want to say that I think we didn't announce in the last SDK call, but Qflow has been graduated, which is great. The CNCF voted for us to, to make our project as a CNCF graduated project. So they plan to announce it, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So they prepared some blog post announcement and other things, which is great. I mean, congratulations everyone, and thanks for all of your help to make it possible. I think we have a lot of other things to announce and to follow up soon. So stay in touch. And again, like the KubeCon, we plan to announce a lot of things at KubeCon. So if you be there, please reach out. So if you want to help, also I think there are a lot of things we need to do. So let us know if you be there and you really want to help us to drive this forward. Yeah, so with that, let's probably first of all talk about Kale, and we can talk about SDK release and other topics. So whether you can, go ahead.
Yep. Thanks. I will go quickly probably. So the first item is that we released it 2.2 last week. So thanks everyone to collaborate with this. The second piece is that we approved the cap for mounting PVCs, and there is already a PR open for Adam. So if you want to have a chance to review the first direction of it, that's the time to do. I know that Harsh, I think Harsh, you are the one that reviewed this one, right? And nice to meet you, Harsh, by the way. And the second one, the third item is that there is this pull request from Yash that is on GSOC. And this is a significant new feature that probably we even discuss if we should do a 3.0 release or a major release as soon as they merge. This allows multi-notebook composition for Kale. And it's a cool feature I invite you to try because now it's mostly working. There are some corner cases that I'm still working with Yash, but basically notebook, you become a new step cell, a new step type. So when you're selecting step or instead of doing step, you'll be a new type import that you can reference notebooks there. And I think let me see if I have running here quickly. Let me open this one. So I'll put a print screen here quickly to folks see.
Do you want to share your screen to show it up?
Oh yeah. So let me just do quickly this. So share. I'm using the Y on the browser. Yeah, found it. Yeah. So yeah, here you can see that you're seeing my screen, right? You have a step here. There is a cell type notebook, and this is a producer that references this other notebook, KO notebook here. They're not working here because I try to run locally. So if you come here, you can see a producer notebook and here another step, and then you run. This will look like this in the KFPY. So you see the producer. This when you enter here is a sub pipeline actually here, and then after that come back and execute another step here. So this is like a sub notebook and then another step that we're doing as a base of GSOC. In future, we can even do a drag and drop editor that will generate the same annotations, but this step is a pretty powerful abstraction that we're building on top of this.
So there a quick question, could you clarify, so the notebook producer, how do you add the notebook there?
Yeah, this is a notebook living in the same Jupyter environment, but can reference any notebook in a file system. And then when I come here, I put the notebook path here. There's a path for the place where Jupyter is mounted.
So you basically select the path to the file in the cell, right? And then the cell
Yep,
affects the entire notebook. Okay.
exactly. We need to do a better tweak on the UI here. We are going. Our plan is to drag and drop here. That I do this, and then I do a drag and drop in a cell. You create a cell for the notebook, but this will be further improvements from the Yash PR.
Yeah, but like that will also have a limitation. So it only supports sequences, not like graphs, right? You cannot construct
On the
the tag.
yeah, on the first step, yes. But
Mm-hmm.
I think is that what we can do here for each example, that if those steps we can put we can actually build a graph later, but it
Mm-hmm.
requires a sub step on the Kubeflow, the way that even K works to create a sub step on the pipelines.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, do you mean in this UX you still require to like define the dependencies by themselves, right? Like I see that it was depends on uh field that you can select, right?
Which
Like if you open,
dependencies?
yeah, basically if you open the panel, like the previous panel that you show
Mm-hmm.
me,
Yeah, this
um,
one.
yeah, so I was able to see like some sort of depends on other notebook.
That's for these
Oh,
steps. That's for these
Oh,
steps.
I see,
yeah,
I see.
depends is for the steps here.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
I can put here and put that these steps
Okay, okay,
depends on
makes
the other one, and then we can make it can make up a full graph later on this. But the most important part here, Andre, is that we are able to create uh, um, a recursive graph of notebooks. So we can have one notebook inside another notebook that's inside another notebook, and then we run the full pipeline and sub pipelines on top of this.
Yeah, but that might not allow, like, for example, like if you want to build a graph, like the KFP, the pipeline, and if you have like two notebooks running in parallel, I'm not sure if that it will be possible, right? With this UX.
Yeah, this is not possible. Yes, on this wax, but this we need to have the sub steps in the KO that doesn't work yet.
Okay, okay.
One question about
Adrian?
the notebooks. The notebook is also a Kale thing, or it's
Yes.
just a notebook? I mean,
No,
can
it's
you have another Kale?
yes, could be either KO or could be another KO notebook, or could be any Python code, any Python
Okay,
notebook.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Any other questions? What if a notebooks depend on step? Yes, William, we are keeping the same behavior of regular steps. So if one step depend on another one, we make sure that those pass, and also the variables is passing from a notebook for another one. So if you have a variable in the parent, a sub notebook can reference that variable, and do the result and then pass for the variable. For instance, I take a transformation step for a notebook that takes some input and then passes output and the outer argument.
Yeah, I
So
think yeah. I mean, I think this is great. I mean,
go
we
ahead.
should definitely brainstorm the idea on around UX. I understand right now we have like the KL limitation, like for example, like the PR that I shared with you, and maybe we can quickly take a look. And this is what our team actually built a couple of years ago as part of the Jupyter Scheduler extension. And
Which notebook?
yeah, let me maybe share my
Oh,
screen.
I'll just open here. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I think the idea is yes, there is a need to build a workflows from multiple notebooks. And the approach is slightly different here, like because I know we have a key limitation, but the idea is here have this kind of, the spreadsheet or like the
Mhm.
panel where you can construct the workflows using just drag and drop them here. Um, and the idea is like you can this is like a little bit more flexible because it allows you to basically construct the DAG, across multiple
Mhm.
notebooks and which kind of like give you additional, functionality how you can construct the entire workflow, right, of multiple notebooks. The
Yes.
limitations of this approach doesn't support steps like the cell, like what you have with
Mhm.
Kale. But I guess like, the similar UX might be interesting, to also investigate, right?
Yes, we are going to do as a second step this, Andre. I think the most important piece is to have this recursion, because based on top of this, you can build. My end vision is exactly. Stop here, please. Is exactly this structure here. But the point is that we are going to serialize this data structure in a KO notebook.
Okay, okay. So
But
Kale
but
will
the
become
user
kind of,
the
yeah.
user yeah, it becomes the serialization format, and this become the visualization for a notebook.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like a ladder. I mean, you're right, Willem, because Luciano working with us actually right now. So yeah,
Sorry?
Lyra using yeah, like we're in the same team. So,
Oh
but I
yeah.
mean, in any case, like Lyra and this approach is kind of similar. I would say KL approach is also interesting because again, cells, if the cells is a kind of entire step, we haven't really explored such functionality and use cases here, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have like you guys, as you're talking about, like a meta notebook, which kind of allow you to, like bring the multiple steps. It could be cell, it could be Python file, it could be another notebook, right? And then this kind of
Yep.
like a notebook represents the entire workflow, right?
Yep.
Um,
My
yeah,
the- my end vision with Kale Andre is that everybody start the exploration with a single notebook,
yeah.
and then they do the steps for the pipeline, and the second step, like I see those steps, they're reusable.
Mhm.
This would be the third step of this, right? I combine a some step and extract as a extra notebook, and this like a refactoring format, and this become a external notebook.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, we should definitely continue to explore UX and see how users actually,
Mm-hmm.
will use that. Let me link this PR for you, interest. So it's
Yep.
multi-steps. Um,
It looks very similar to Lyra. Probably we should try to find out some user experience closer to what Kubeflow is right now, just to have like the same look and feel between both things.
mhm.
But uh, I like the idea of having a visual representation because notebooks are fine, and I agree. I agree with the other the idea of like yes, let's have like a code representation of the notebook itself using Kale or that thing. But then like having a way to visually see the pipeline is very powerful, especially when things start
Yep.
the trees start to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is like what we kind of hear from, our users, right? Because yes, you can basically embed everything in a single notebook and like, follow this UX, but when the pipeline grow, right, we have like, maybe 50 steps. It's become very challenging to
Mm-hmm.
really understand what's happening, right?
Yep.
Yeah, especially for more kind of complex workflows, etc. So, um, yeah, but anyway, I think it's great work. Like, I think we should, try collect feedback, see what users say. I kind of like see that those
Yep.
experiences coexist. But let's definitely continue this, exploration on the UX.
Absolutely. And then my next step is that if folks, if everybody agrees that we should start to explore, because I'm starting to do the migration for KFP 2.17 to align with SDK. And one of
Mhm.
the features that we have there that is a postponing for a long time is to have a local running. So if everybody's totally against to have a local running mode for Kale, especially to run on the CI/CD, and also to do some local testing, quick testing without a cluster, the KFP cluster.
Mhm. So local running, you mean using local backend for KFP, right?
Yes, for
Okay.
KFP. Yes, for KFP. So it's basically to
Mhm.
run Jupyter only, install Kale, and be able to run a pipeline and compile a pipeline.
Is it already an upstream, this functionality using KFP SDK?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
not with the,
Oh,
I didn't. I tried with the KFP. I didn't try with the KFP SDK yet. Sorry, with
oh,
Kubeflow
oh,
SDK.
yeah. So in Kubeflow SDK, we just don't have this feature yet because I think Michael
Yep.
doesn't have chance to work on this. So I
Mm-hmm.
think for now we can split. So you can, when you install Kubeflow SDK, KFP also comes out of the box because we
Yes.
serve its
Mm-hmm.
pipelines client out of KFP. So you can, for now, use the backend, the local execution using the KFP
Mm.
APIs. And then after
Yep.
we do migration, we can, also do refactoring,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Maybe make a note.
So this is
So
something that you want to support as well, Andre,
yeah,
on the Kubeflow SDK, right?
yes, I think we should support the KFP
Yeah.
local execution, similar to
Mm-hmm.
how we support local execution for trainer clients,
Yep.
right? Um,
There are two major things that I want to do before the refactoring for KFP. How I started this for to be transparent to folks, right? Is that there is no way to do a CI/CD, a proper CI/CD with a pipeline without the cluster in KO right now. So the
mhm.
local, I want to do local testing because do this surgery that I have to do for to support with Kubeflow SDK, and then also there is a bunch of folks that doesn't have a laptop enough to run a KFP cluster, and this brought a block adoption of KO for not adoption, but for folks who develop KO.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so I think so, Vidansh, if you can maybe create a tracking issue for us to
I will do.
yeah. So that you want to create it, right? Yeah, let me make a note actually.
Yeah, I will create. As we are talking about Andre, about on the KFP,
Okay. Yeah,
on the
let's.
Kubeflow SDK, right? Is this question here? Let me move up. Yeah, is from the SDK. How the when Kubeflow cluster works, and that Red Hat also works because we are local mode, right, internally. But do you guys support when I am in Jupyter locally, pointing to external Kubeflow cluster? Because I don't see the cookie index supported in the SDK.
Yeah, I think we didn't do any changes on the outside there. Like the pipelines client is basically exactly the same KFP client, but we just have this abstraction on top,
Yeah,
right?
I think the point is the pipeline client doesn't support this, Andre.
Oh, I see, I see.
I
So this is
just want
like a
to, yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I need to change the if you agree and folks from the SDK, right? We need to propose this for Kubeflow pipelines,
Mm-hmm.
and because they don't forward the cookies. So from my local, I cannot push a KO pipeline for the Kubeflow.
I see. I see. I see. I see. Yeah, it's interesting. So you do mean we don't expose this via this pipelines client?
No,
This
they don't expose in the Kubeflow pipelines client on the KFP
okay.
side.
Okay. I see. I see. Yeah, let's definitely track this. I think
Mm-hmm.
we should because I think when Michael was designing this, I think he was taking the just default client from KFP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess was the idea behind it. Yeah, Alicia, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a pipelines community call today at 1 o'clock Eastern. If you have the availability to hop on that and bring this up.
I will not, unfortunately, but can I create an issue and ping you in the Slack with this
That
explaining
would
the
be
problem?
great. If you can create an issue for this, I'll bring this up on the call today.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe
Yeah, I think
there is a chance that I'm missing something. Lisa, that's why I'm asking. Is
Yeah, this
basically the
makes sense
ability
to
that
me.
I'm running Jupyter locally, right? How I use the pipelines client to pass the cookie, the authentication to cookie for it.
Yeah, I
What we
do
do in
think that there's a
use the
gap
KFP
here.
directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think did you take a look at this Kubernetes backend config, like which parameters it does support? Like you cannot bypass the cookie directly here, right?
Yeah, that's the gap. But I will double check because I was taking a look yesterday afternoon, but I will double check before create the issue. Let me
Yeah,
see.
take a look in this config. Like what
Mm-hmm.
parameters you can bypass in the config. If it doesn't, yeah, let's
Yep.
create an issue and track it there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then this is also Adro comment there is that we are starting the migration for the Kubeflow. Our plan to migrate and make the stop using the KFP SDK and start to use Kubeflow SDK. The first step is that we need to bump the KFP to 217. If unless anybody really disagrees, I'm gonna do this bump.
Yep. I mean, if Kiel doesn't have any
Yeah.
problems to the 70, I think it
Yep.
should be fine. Okay. Okay, sounds good.
Yep. That's all my side. Thank you.
Yeah, for the KTIP, what exactly do you need for
Yeah,
creating the
it's just that I'm letting everybody know they're going to delete because this is old code there.
Oh yeah. So Kiel, yeah, I remember like when Stefano was working on it. Yeah, let's definitely delete it
Yes.
because
Mm-hmm.
we're going to use optimization job in the future.
In the future, I'm going to use via SDK, so you'll be that code either way. So I just remove this code there.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Makes sense. All right. So Willem, you want to quickly talk about
William?
finding examples?
Yeah, I will be quick. Just I'm adding a new example for the KO, and once I open the PR, I'm open for suggestions like what APIs to use and even new examples that would be good to have there. Right now, I'm finishing a fine-tune example, which I should be sending by tomorrow at most, I hope. And later, I think we should have more up-to-date examples with stuff that people are using nowadays. I know that there's discussion going in back and about fine tune or RAG or things like that. So any suggestion is welcome about what we should be adding for KO. Thank you. That's all.
Is it for KL specifically, like inside the KL repo?
Yes. Yes. The fine tuning specifically for KO. I would suggest that in a PR and also in an issue. Yeah, it's just KO, how to split the notebook using KO into a KFP pipeline, and the local execution will be really great for doing this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, let's definitely add more examples there. I agree. And I mean, if you're interesting to see like some of the post-training examples, we have a bunch of them in the trainer repo too, like using PyTorch or using the DeepSpeed and other frameworks. So there are a bunch of post-training examples here, if you're interesting. But yes, you can also create
Nice.
the new one. So please take a look.
Nice. I will take a look at the trainer ones. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, thank you.
I think this example is great, especially because I think as soon as we do the Kubeflow SDK migration, we can start to explore how we integrate better KO with the Kubeflow trainer in the
Exactly.
pipelines.
Yeah, makes
Like
sense.
I
Makes
know
sense.
we have this plan for bringing more of the SDK into KO. So the examples should be using the Kubeflow SDK, so we can in the future start migrate stuff to what we add to KO as well.
All right. Anything else here? We can move on.
I think it's
All
me.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Adjul, yep.
Yeah, no, the only thing is, I wanted to know what you think about like having some kind of API that let us extend some behavioral analytics. Us from our side, we want to see what our customers are trying to do with Kale and how they use and what they use the most. So I'm looking to write a key EP for that. If you agree with this kind of idea, so that's why I'm bringing this to the table.
Yeah, I think Adriel, the only thing that we need to be careful with those APIs is should don't be vendor specific.
No, the idea
Yeah.
for at least for the key EP is to write a own API with a no op default thing, the code, and then if anyone wants to implement their own, they can implement because I
Yeah.
know there are a ton of these, and I don't want to bump everyone with that. The only thing I want is that if you need that information, we can bring it in, and you can create your own behavior analytic implementation for whatever you are looking for. But the idea is to have those integration points in the code so we can see like what kind of if they are using these steps for notebooks or not, or what if they are using if they want to use like the drag and drop things and stuff like that. At least to have an understanding of what the real use case, real people using those kind of things.
Sounds good. I think it will be great. Yes. I mean, I think collecting feedback from especially end users and data scientists, I think that will be helpful. Having some sort of, maybe workshop or some other places for them to speak. We should definitely plan something, maybe even for KubeCon or other places, right? So let's definitely target this. I agree.
From our side, we are trying to target also that we are starting to include Kale in we want Kale to be our first class citizen for pipeline. So we are trying to push that and starting to have some discussion with customers. So we will bring as much information as we can as soon as possible when we start getting that feedback back. So as soon as I have something, I will bring this to the VT2.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and keep us posted for pipeline integration. I think we would definitely need someone to try this out because I think we didn't get a chance to actually test the work with what Michael was doing. So let's continue this discussion. Okay, so yeah, for the next steps, I think I want to quickly say, so for Kubeflow SDK, we finally released 0.5, which is great. I think this is actually one of the biggest release we've done since we started the project. The big thing, like we finally support Spark clients for batch job submission and also the pipelines client, which basically we can say that right now you can literally run almost all of the APIs under the single unified interface, which was our initial goal when we started this project almost a year ago. And the goal for us, like users can just do people install Kubeflow and start to do experiments where there's data processing, large scale training, or ML pipeline building, or like parameter optimization. I believe I think the experience is great. We definitely need to socialize it more and really understand how end users will utilize this SDK, what the typical use cases, how they like will that actually help us to bring more Kubeflow adoption, etc. Let's definitely like socialize this more across the community. And I know we have a couple of really great blog posts we've done over the past couple of weeks. So the first one from CNCF, which kind of like a couple of months ago we reached the $1 million downloads, which is great, and we try to kind of summarize this with the cloud native community, explain what is the purpose of SDK, why we started this project, what was the major gaps. So please take a look if you kind of want to learn more about, like why we started this project. Another good blog post is for Spark batch job submission, which was also like another great work stream we've done to support Spark batch jobs in addition to interactive Spark sessions. And I see a lot of activity from especially companies who depend on Spark operator and who want to, utilize this Pythonic experience for their, data analyst, data scientist, and folks who use Spark on Kubernetes. And like the experience, like what is like one of the best thing here, we try to have exactly the same experience as we have for train jobs with the PyTorch. Like the goal is we kind of give a user a way to submit the Spark transformations using function or using the file job, and experience exactly the same as the PyTorch training. So it's very interesting. Like I super exciting for this because it gives a user a simple way to transition from data processing to training without like learning new API or understanding how those things works. So please take a look at this and try out, run some of the examples, and let us know if you see any limitations with this new submit job experience with Spark. Yeah, so for the 0.5 release, any other comments, questions folks have here on the call? All right, great work. So I know we have a lot of things to enhance Spark support. I think Tariq, you created this, meta issue where we try to track the progress. Let's continue to test sub issues. Like I'm trying to kind of like figure out the way how we can track the progress better. I know like the Kubeflow notebooks have a very good tracking board with their project management, and then probably we can do some similar things for SDK for trainer, so we can at least track the kind of like the meta issues and epics across, support for Spark, support for pipelines, etc. And we have like this, like the sub issues we track there. So let me try to see if we can build this board so we can at least, like point folks to some small good first issues they can help with, because I know I have like a lot of pending PRs and we need more help to review them. So that might help us to kind of prioritize the board and the tracking issues across the project. Yeah, so let me quickly go to another good release about MCP. So I know Abhishek, you're here, right? Do you want to quickly talk about it? About MCP server?
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much. We finally got our first release. I know it was expected as 0.1.0, but now it has 0.1.1 because of some issue we faced yesterday during release. But I'm happy that we got our first release, and this is just the first milestone. We have much more to for the next release. For example, currently we only have trainer client support, but as similar to SDK, like a unified SDK solution, we will also focus on optimizer client, Spark client, and much more. And as there is much activity on trainer and SDK side to onboard Khatib optimizer client on trainer itself, so we will also take that into consideration, and let's see how it goes. That's it from me.
Yeah, I think it's great. Let me open the blog post. I think it's still building the PR. Yeah, so I think we have this blog post which kind of summarized the initial, the APIs, right? Yeah, do you want to quickly give an overview, or we can just link it in the docs?
I think it's self-explanatory, so we can link it then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, please take a look. I think initially we support a couple of like tools to submit the fine-tuning jobs and do some post-training using the natural language. And I know like you also done some integrations with with telemetry and how to deploy those servers on the enterprise environment. Yeah, so I think we should continue this exploration. What kind of tools we want to offer. Um, we just need to be a little bit careful, like in terms of deprecation of some of the APIs. Like for example, like since we work in the optimization job API in the trainer, that might require for us to do some breaking changes on the SDK side. So let's maybe continue this, like conversation, what tools we want to bring. Uh, for the future versions, do you know what are the plans right now to work on for the MCP side?
Uh, to start with, I think Krishna is currently working on Optimizer client. We kept 0.4.0 stable version of SDK as a base for now, and we are not planning to move ahead uh, earlier. So we will onboard Optimizer client first for 0.4.0, and I think we will have first release with Optimizer client with 0.2.0. Maybe it will take 1.5 months, but we don't have any concrete release timeline as of now. And we have much more. So, for example, Spark client is still in queue. So, Shrishti from Pipelines is also working on Pipelines client. So, um, what else? Um, yeah, that's for now.
Sounds good. For the optimizer, let's ensure we have this a way to migrate to the new API, because I think like
Yeah.
we discussing this, that once the optimization job will be there, we might want to kind of remove the optimizer client and serve those API under a single trainer client. But from the tooling
Yeah.
perspective, like it won't be any breaking change because you just build this abstraction on top, right?
Yes, and as it might take some time to onboard the term trainer as SDK, so that's why we
Yeah.
were quite. Um, we are currently moving forward with 0.4.0 as of now, and we are not planning to upgrade to 0.5 as of now.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Sounds good to me. Right, great work, guys. Really exciting for this. Anything else here you want to say?
I think that's it. Krishna, do you want to add something here?
Yeah, I would like to say that everyone in the call, can you please just like use MCP server and give us feedbacks? We are open for feedbacks currently. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, let's try to also socialize this blog post. So I know, so we might want to start a new working group, and this is not official yet. So, but we're trying to kind of understand how we can group all those agentic projects to the single entity. Especially, if you attend the, yesterday demo for semantic operator. So it looks like, more and more project under Kubeflow organization want to do, agentic orchestrations, whether it is semantic operator, MCP server, docs agents. So we might want to build a new working group. So let's definitely stay in touch and see how we can socialize it broader across the community. Because again, I think Kubeflow has a big potential, as a community and, set of folks who can, build those experiences. And, grouping them under the same working group might be an interesting idea. But we will keep you posted for this. I think MCP
Uh,
server is a good candidate. Yeah.
just one thing to add there. So I was waiting for first release, but I have something to like a proposal. So initially we talked about registry, right?
Mhm.
So I was thinking to reinitiate the discussion, and if we can get a single skill registry for all the components, and then we can get this readily pluggable for MCP, that would be really great. So uh,
Yes, I agree.
Shrishti started pipeline side of things for the scale registry, but that discussion didn't uh, well uh, discussed. So
Yeah, I think do you I think that's right. So the AI marketplace or like whatever we're gonna call it, we should definitely do this, how we're gonna serve the set of skills. Do we have a tracking issue for this anywhere?
We don't have it yet, but I was thinking I had some ideas. So I can create a Jira issue, and if you permit, I can
Yeah.
uh, try some draft for proposal. Is it okay?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. So let's create an issue for this tracking issue.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we can discuss, like where MCP server and those marketplaces should coexist and how we're going to serve the set of skills for, users who want to, have this additional context around the projects,
Uh,
right? So that makes
And
sense.
so sorry for interrupting. Do you think is it good idea to have a separate channel for MCP? Like there is no yet. And I was thinking, uh, oh, I forgot. So sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a good idea. So I think we should think about whether we want to, combine all those AI capabilities, like, whether it's skills, tools, marketplaces in a single channel. Let's maybe follow up for this afterwards. But I agree, maybe having a separate channel uh, for those work streams might be useful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I want to quickly spend time about the TRL and also the open telemetry cap that we need to probably move forward. So, Tariq, do you want to showcase anything here? Or I think Yasin.
Yeah. So I think Yasin has done actually like a POC for TRL. Yasin, you're on the call, right? Do you want to share?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, let me share my screen. Can you give me access for sharing my screen?
I think you should be able.
Hello?
Yeah, I think you should. Do you have access to share screen?
Yes, let me check. Yeah, I can now share it. So do you see my screen?
Yep.
So basically what is okay. Okay, so basically what I did is just like creating a Docker file, and that Docker file for TRL, and then the entry point SSH, which is for the TRL also, and adding some of the requirements, and then the train that's for the example. If anyone is interested to look at the artifacts for how did we do the POC, and yeah, like that's the YAML file for the runtime for Quen 2.5. And we had we had some interesting facts. One of them is that the fact that does the TRL, that's one of the questions and was about does the TRL CLI work with Kubeflow trainer push plugin or not? And the answer, yes, but with some limitations. We developed an adapter pattern on top of it because a naive adapter fails silently. So because one of the reasons behind it is that the PET um, torch run on environments interface, which torch that's only can be read by torch run, then exports the standard like rank and world size to its children. So and another problem is that the accelerator has zero references to the PET anywhere. That's for the TRL. So it's pair of torch run, not a layer below it, which takes the topology from the flags. Does that make sense so far?
So can it recognize the PIT underscore environment variable TRL CLI? It can, right?
Yeah, it cannot.
Yeah, it can't because it's Hugging Face Accelerate, and Hugging Face Accelerate is a wrapper over the Torch-Run launcher. So one would expect, okay, it's a wrapper over the Torch-Run launcher, but then Accelerate is also opinionated in terms of how it does its launching. So it will read the elastic variables, and then it will overwrite them. with what it gets from in terms of its command line flags essentially. So there is some difference there. So basically, what happened is that in the demo that that the POC that Yasin has done, basically within the entry point, container entry point, basically we have this mapping of the logic from accelerate to elastic variables that allows the training job to actually succeed in the first place to begin with. And so this actually kind of points back to the question about registration, because if you're talking about registration in a truly dynamic sense, then the question is that what is it that we're trying to accomplish? Because then what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up a universal runtime contract across the Torch plugin. And the question is, what is that contract? Well, part of that contract is those elastic variables, but then those are Torch Run launcher specific. So is the runtime contract universal? Well, it is actually Torch Run launcher specific. So whatever we have in the Torch Run launch, whatever we have in the Torch plugin, there is an inherent assumption that it's going to be Torch Run launcher specific. So basically, and then Accelerate doesn't fit into that mold, essentially. And so it's basically a question of like, what is kind of the responsibility of the plugin versus what is the responsibility of, let's say, the platform engineer. So if a platform engineer comes in, then they might just want to register a new framework. They might just want to say, okay, I'm just going to do a new runtime manifest. I'm just going to do an entry point or a Docker file, and I'll just leave it there. And so basically for that to happen, they need some universal runtime contract, some execution environment that is set up by PyTorch that any framework can recognize. And that's currently the missing piece, basically, because it's shaped in a Torch Run launcher way. That's kind of the missing piece. So that's kind of one of the things. The other thing is there's a lot of like framework dependent stuff within the TorchTune, for what we have in TorchTune currently. So I guess it's a question of like, if we want to do that registration truly dynamic way, we take all of the framework dependent stuff, pull that out, and put it in a place, maybe in some kind of an entry point or some other place where the platform engineer can configure that, basically. So it's about like a segregation of responsibilities, basically, between what the plugin is going to own in terms of just setting up the execution environment versus what the platform engineer is going to own in terms of setting up that manifest and the Docker file and everything, basically, and having all of that framework dependent logic and setting it up in such a way that the execution environment is set up so that the framework is able to grab that environment and run with the job, basically. So that's kind of what the fundamental problem, where it's going, basically.
Yeah, and I see. So I would say we should definitely, first of all, move your proposal to trainer. Secondly, we should tell for Accelerate what kind of limitations we have on the Torch Run and whether we want to build a separate ML policy plugin called Accelerate. And I would say, so there are a couple of frameworks, right, which use Torch Run as the entry point. For example, like Megatron, right? So Megatron LM, you can use today the Torch plugin to kick off the Megatron jobs. However, some of the frameworks like TRL, they're using, Accelerate to bootstrap the training, right? I kind of like, I want to better understand, like if we don't use Accelerate, if you don't set up the Accelerate environment variables, what kind of limitations we have? Do we require to configure the Accelerate, like command line script directly? Like what would be the limitations? Yeah, Jason?
Yes. So another thing that I think I didn't mention also is that the fact that we have two silent traps when it comes to Accelerate, because like whenever you are using use CPU, I think like I put that in the comment in the chat, because like every distributed branch is granted and not for GPU. So that's one of the other limitation whenever we are using TRL versus a TRL accelerator versus the TorchTune. So, and another one is that multi GPU is only auto enabled when it comes to local pod Cs. Okay, so yeah.
I see. Do you know, so those configurations, can they be set by environment variables?
The issue is not when it, yes, Tarek.
So can Accelerate
Yeah, so I mean,
recognize? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, accelerate what it requires are those command line flags basically, and then it basically overrides them with the PyTorch elastic variables basically. So that's what it's doing. It's expecting its own command line flags. So we have, let's say, we have the numproc per node and the number of nodes. Accelerate would expect something like number of machines, the number of processes, and it would run some computation to then fill in those elastic variables. So it has its own flag, so to speak, basically for how it decodes the logic, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So
But I mean, but if we kick off the TRL script with the torch run, it will have some limitations, right? As you mentioned.
well, actually, yeah, we can. I mean, that's another option. I mean, I guess we can kick off the TRL script with torch run, but then, yeah, I mean, that is an option for sure. That's making an assumption that we're just, yeah, I mean, that works in the TRL case, but then the question is like, is it going to work for all other frameworks? I mean, yeah, that could very well work for TRL. We just skip the accelerate stuff and then just kick off the TRL with
Yeah, this
torch
is
run.
what we use to test, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that could actually bypass the problem. It wouldn't answer the registration question, I guess, fully, but yeah, I guess it would bypass the problem because we'd not be using the default launcher, we'd just be using Torchron. So yeah, that would work, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
if eventually we want to build a new plugin, we can, in train job controller, specifically for Accelerate, similar to how we've done this for MPI. I don't see a big problem to build the Accelerate plugin. I just want to understand what are the limitations today with Torch Run, right?
No, makes sense. Yeah, I guess, yeah, we just need to run that additional step and then possibly just update the cap with the details, I guess, for what we've actually found and what's kind of the proposal here. So I think that's those are the pending steps.
Okay. Anything else here? So try to do this. Try to run, TRL script with Torch Run, and also explain limitations, right, in the proposal. I think we should also discuss splits between client side and the backend side, right? Changes we need to do.
Yeah.
Client means the SDK?
Yeah, if there are any changes required to the server side, and if there are any changes required to the client side, right? And server side, we're talking about trainer project, right? Creation of new runtimes or updating the plugins, right?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, let's definitely follow up again. I'm not against building the plugin for Accelerate if we really need it. But I mean, I got your point, Tarek, around what does it mean to have dynamic registration, and if those frameworks can be triggered via Torchron, do we really need to build this dynamic registration for them? At least for those who can recognize the pet underscore environment variables, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we have 5 minutes. Yash, I know you want to talk about hotel, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I reviewed it uh, in some previous meet, I guess. And do you have any questions related to it before moving it forward?
I think it looks good to me. I mean, maybe Tarek, if you get the chance to maybe take a look at this as well, if you can from the Spark perspective, that might be
Yep.
helpful for. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time. I think we just need to definitely agree on the metrics.
So basically, previously I proposed 4 metrics. Then Abhijit pointed out that we can't have the counter because the decrement is not possible. The increment is possible, but the decrement is not possible currently. So I removed it. So currently we have only 3 metrics uh, in this KP, which are a job created, and yes, these 3 are there. And yes, so for this KP, I am proposing only these 3. If someone wants to add something here, I can do that.
Okay. And the telemetry piece will be kind of like the part of util function, right? How are we going to enable this telemetry? What would be the user experience?
So the telemetry would be a no-op, so it would be downloaded with the Kubeflow SDK, and they have to install OpenTelemetry SDK and their yes, so they have to install that. So OpenTelemetry SDK to enable the telemetry for them. And if
Yeah, I guess. You
yes,
good.
no.
My question is like, what if users want to opt out from this feature?
So if they do not enable this from their end, it will be opt out only. Like there will be nothing if they do not configure from their end.
I see. But I mean, like, then in that case, we need to kind of build the instrumentation in the way that, if, like if SDK is not installed with the telemetry, which is going to, like, don't do anything, right, on the API.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. Maybe, so do you have a section in the app where explain, like, how user can opt in and opt out from this capability? Like,
I think somewhere it is mentioned in the user stories. There is mentioned. You can check the user stories that if zero impact without configuration. This is the story 4.
Okay. And I see, like, in that case, I think you said here we're gonna have another extension, right, for the pipelines for the SDK installation. I think you probably removed it, right? How user can install the Kubeflow SDK with the telemetry integration. Will it be basically another
Yes, another.
dependency group, right? How we do
Yes,
this for, I guess, for
yes.
notebooks or for, what is it, for Spark, right? Optional dependencies, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's agree on the metrics. I mean, we can definitely, I mean, I guess, like, those metrics kind of abstract, so we can use the same metrics for Spark, right? It looks like.
Sure, yes.
Okay. How many jobs are created? Like, what are, like, the time of the job, right? And then the errors.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, let me try to take a look. Like, Derek, if you have time, also please check this as well. And then maybe we can just try to include this in the next release then, afterwards. I will ask maybe also Annie to take a look, or Fiona, other folks from the SDK team.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, anything else here?
Not from my side.
All right. Thanks, Brandon, for your time. Let's follow up for these proposals. And let's about the AI agents. Yeah, we need to spend time still. Sorry, like, I didn't get a chance to take a look. I know we first of all want to merge the trainer PRs for, like, developer experience for agents, and then maybe do the same for the SDK afterwards. So let's follow up for this. All right. Thanks, everyone. Speak to you soon, guys.